Today I'm going to be telling you the difference between the ABR Overdrive and the TS9. Starting off with both knobs set at noon when you turn them on. There's definitely a big difference in the EQ. The ABR is a lot clearer and tighter in the low end, and the TS9 is a little fizzy, but also has some of the high end rolled off, and it has more low end. I started off with a clean tone. So on a clean tone, I had them both set with a little bit of drive and the volume backed off a tiny bit. I had the mode on drop for the ABR. Just listening to the clean tone examples, you can tell that the TS9 is a little bit more fizzy. It has a little bit more gain as well. The ABR is designed specifically to go into a high gain preamp, so it doesn't need like a whole lot of gain or else it would just get way too much. It's got the right amount. But for a clean tone, it is still absolutely usable if you're like a blues player or if you want some low gain riffs. For the clean tone, I feel like for the TS9, I usually like brighter guitar tones, so I feel like I had to crank the tone knob on this a bit. To me, it feels like the ABR just has a much more usable tone knob, but to each his own. I set up a crunch tone with an AC30. I had both of these going into it. I basically had it to where it was more just like a slight boost. Not like a metalcore boost, but like just a little bit of drive. Volume and tone were generally the same. I kept the mode on drop for that one as well because I wanted it to have just a little bit of low end. Playing through those, you can hear they both have a nice mid-range boost. The TS9 still, once again, rolled off a bit too much high end. But if you like a much like beefier tone, TS9 definitely works great for that. The ABR definitely had the tighter tone, especially when it had the little, you know, like the 2000s pop punk chugs. If you can tell so far, the trend is that the ABR pedal definitely has a slightly more modern tone, and the TS9 has a bit more of a vintage tone. I mean, look at this thing. This thing looks old as shit. Damn. For last tone example, I did a high gain tone. This, I had the ABR on the tight setting because obviously when you have a lot of gain, sometimes the low end can get a little too like rumbly and fuzzy sometimes. This sounds really good going into a high gain amp with the tight switch on because it just cuts out enough low end to where it keeps your tone and your chugs and your riffs very tight and modern. The TS9 is a classic. Obviously everyone's used it for like the boosts and everything, but I feel like it just has too much low end. Like it's just like fuzzy. It makes the low end almost like fuzzy, but with the tight switch on here, it really tightens it up and just makes it sound much cleaner and more articulate. Overall, I would say if you're looking for a more modern tone, the ABR pedal is definitely the move. If you're looking for a more vintage tone, the TS9 does the job. You can absolutely get vintage tones out of the ABR if you just roll off the tone knob a bit, but, you know, also it's got a cool little racing stripe. And it comes in 4 colors.
The ABR by Tallon Electric. Buy it now.